Welcome back. You're still tuned into Halftime Report on CNBC TV 18. Well, the Bank Nifty is up around 1%, so doing well. We have the advanced decline ratio also, which is steady as of now. So no worsening which has taken place there. But nonetheless, let's talk about Morepen Labs. That stock is in focus on the back of reports that the company is planning to hive off its medical device business into a separate unlisted subsidiary, possibly in the next 12 to 24 months. To discuss this, we have with us Sushil Suri, who's the chairman and MD at Morepen Labs. Remember, that stock has rallied quite significantly. It's up around, I think, around 180% from its 52-week low of around 31 odd rupees. So it's been a great movement for that particular stock. But Mr. Suri, thanks very much for joining in. If you could just start by clarifying on this business standard report, which indicates that you're looking to hive off your medical devices business, and eventually you're probably looking to even monetize it or unlock value.
Yeah, basically the medical devices business had been growing rapidly, and we are seeing that the opportunities are increasing as we speak. So we feel that, okay, this business needs a little more focus, and more importantly, it needs growth. So to do that, it needs a separate style of management, it needs separate financing activities, and more importantly, it needs a separate sales team. So we have already taken an approval from the shareholders to hive it off into a separate subsidiary, 100% subsidiary. Of course, we are looking at the logistics and regulatory matters, but the question is of unlocking. So unlocking may happen in sort of an IPO, it may happen in sort of a bringing a PE player. So there are various options which we are exploring, and of course we have not closed on anything. But as I think you have seen that the value and the valuations of the medical devices business are much more than a typical traditional API business, what we have been doing. So we have been advised that it is better to keep that into a separate subsidiary. And as we go forward, we are seeing the growth potential exponential. And the global markets of medical devices have been growing 10-11% as against the industry average 5-6%.
Right.
But India, the medical devices are growing 30%. So we see that a huge potential is around, and we would like to encash it as fast as possible.
All right. What do you mean when you are looking to encash the value out here? Because are you looking at listing it separately? Are you looking at getting in a strategic investor? Are you looking in at getting a financial investor? Because this growth opportunity that is there would also mean that there is a fair amount of investment that you would have to do. You recently raised funds via QIP, but are you looking to raise some more in this specialized subsidiary?
Thankfully, this particular division, medical devices, is a cash cow, and it generates sufficient cash. We may not need much cash flows. But if we go to set up global capacities, the global capacities have to be formulated according to the, I would say, global requirements. So that's where we would need extra cash flows. That is where the additional capex has to be done for this division. And more important is that once we go for increase in cash flows, so the overall, I'm sorry again. So the overall growth potential of the business increases substantially. So we are open to go to market with PE players or even with an IPO, but nothing is finalized as on today. But the value of the medical device business itself is more than the value of the company. As we have been advised time and again that why everything is sitting in one company. We have API, OTC, formulation, medical devices. So as Morepen, we are a 40-year-old company and we have multiple verticals. So all verticals are growing. So we want to focus on each vertical separately. That's what the whole plan is.
Okay. How much are you expecting, your medical devices business to grow in FY25, and what is a sustainable run rate for you?
Look, the industry per se is growing potentially between the government of India has put up a target of 28%. And fortunately for us, we are almost the same number. We have been growing at 27-28% CAGR. And our target is that, okay, we should double every 3 years. So we are expecting little more than 500 this year. And the target is to double up in 3 years' time to do 1,000 crores in the next three financial years after this. And going forward, we want to put up heavy target because we have huge potential for the export. Going as is, where is basis where we are today, we expand the domestic market, we increase our distribution in South and East where we are little weak today. Weak means we are less than the North and West. Our 65% of revenues come from North and West. So we increase our revenues in the rest of the India, plus we increase our product basket, but that will make 1,000 crores. But important is after that we want to go to exports. So in exports, India is becoming the market hub. I mean, everybody knows India is a manufacturing hub. Particularly in medical devices, once we start the export to US and European market, I don't think there is any limit. This 1,000 crore can go to 1,500 crore, it can go to 2,000 crores. So we are seeing
Sure.
huge potential.
So just to clarify, 500 crores is what you're aiming for in terms of revenue from the medical devices business in FY25, and you're expecting around a plus 25% CAGR in terms of the business going forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
This year it may be between 500 to 550. And last year it was 440, so we're expecting a little more than 500. But yes, you can assume that.
Okay. Can you just give us a sense in terms of the glucometers? What kind of innovation are you looking at when it comes to your glucometers in terms of growth? Because now we are seeing this continuous glucose monitoring which is taking place, and that's probably becoming even more prevalent. Anything within your pipeline that you have in terms of more innovative products which you're bringing to the market, and at what pricing?
Basically, there are two types of innovations happening. One, of course, is the existing product. How do we, because existing product people are using. There are 12 million users, what we have, and there are other companies who have, I think, almost similar presence in the market. So we are as big as all of the rest of the players together. So in the same product, what we are planning and, of course, going to execute is a Bluetooth connectivity so that people start collecting their data. India had not been very fancy about collecting data, and people were trying to keep it as simple as possible. And that was our plan of the strategy. That was part of the strategy, that we don't want to complicate the process. So what we have done now is that, okay, we have a base. Now from this base, the whole first step would be go for connectivity. And then, of course, coupled with the high-end AI applications, and we all know what AI can do. I don't want to get into that. So that is where the first step, so that we start getting the data of the customers and data of the patients. And diabetic being diabetic, and it's one of the second big killer in the country. So we want to do the device data part. Second, I think, is the continuous glucose monitoring. So that is where our main focus is. The company has been spending a lot of resources on doing a continuous glucose monitoring. So presently there is one product from Abbott which is extremely costly, which has, I would say, almost 10,000 rupees per month. So we want to bring the cost down to 1,000 rupees per month. So that is what we are working upon. And once we have the product in the market would be ready. As I'm told, especially the market is also not ready. So those are the two major innovations of glucometer which are happening.
All right, you've given us the guidance for the number of strips and glucometers that you intend to sell over the next few years. You're increasing your capacities out there as well. Mr. Suri, thank you so much for joining in. We'll talk to you another day post your results, perhaps, to get a sense of your non-medical devices, the API business, etc., as well, the impact of China. But that conversation for another day. Thank you for joining us today. We take a short break, come back on the other side. We'll talk about Reliance Industries, the big boy reporting its numbers today. We'll get you more on what the street expectations are after this break.